Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, drop a yes in the comment section. If you can hear me, drop a yes in the comment section. Well, good evening, everyone, and I'm super excited to see you again. Welcome to Casa de Lenguas webinar. Today is the first of a series of master classes we're going to have on scholarship, and we will be looking at the school application process, requirements, timelines, and strategies. We'll also explore scholarship types, eligibility, and how to apply successfully. We will also gain skills to organize applications and boost chances of acceptance and funding. To facilitate this educative masterclass is no other than our one and only Mr. Raymond Inketia. Mr. Nketia, you have the floor.
Okay, Mr. Nuki, thank you so much for this program. I think it's a very good program that is being done in that time, in this period of time, and I think it's a very good thing for us all to have opportunities to apply to schools. People need to apply to the next level of schools and stuff like that, and it's really great that this opportunity is being provided by Casa de Lengua. So thumbs up to the team for this as well. Now, among the many things that people need to know is that the school application process is doable. Everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. You don't need any special techniques or stuff like that. All you don't need very special techniques. I mean, there's nothing so special about it, but it's just about getting the right information and then following the procedures to get the right thing done. And if you put in the very best, you get the results. So that's why for us, we have decided that we are going to do this scholarship series to help people get used to the process so that they can also be able to deliver and get the admissions to schools for their master's program, PhDs, and with scholarships as well. Because if others are able to get it, then it means you can also get it. If you do the right thing, the emphasis is on doing the right thing. That is what we have been trying to tell people for some time now. The emphasis is just do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you definitely get the results. So that's why for us, we have decided that we are going to do this scholarship series.
Mr. Nketia, we can't hear you. I guess your mic is muted.
Thanks, Adelingua, for this opportunity. So I'll just share my screen, and I think if that to be possible, we'll just pick it up from there. Okay. It doesn't look like it's allowing me to share my screen. The options. Let me see.
Maybe we can share it from our end.
Okay. Okay. So I'll share with you. Then you just share from your end. There's that. I think that will be okay. So in the meantime, as you are sharing it, the key point I just want everyone. So This is Donuki. I've sent it to you, so you can pick it from your end and then share from that end as well. The key point I want everybody to know is, as you are seeing other people get their scholarships, you can also get your scholarship. You can get admission, and it's a very competitive process, which we said in some of our previous ones we did earlier this year. That it's a very competitive process. Reason because you're not competing with your fellow Ghanaians only. You're competing against the Nigerians, other Africans. You're competing against the Indians, the Europeans, and co, and even Americans in the same school. I mean, if you're applying to even Canadians, so we are competing on the global stage. So you just need to step up your game. So things that you would have done in Ghana and gotten admission, that might not be enough to get admission at the global stage with scholarships. So it means everybody, um, everybody needs to be able to everybody needs to be able to step up their game. There are certain things that we wouldn't have considered. I mean, people sometimes even forget to even put volunteering opportunities. And you know how the whites are very particular about service to humanity and the community. So yes, you want a scholarship, you want an admission. What have you done for society with the knowledge you've already gained from your undergrad? Have you been useful to society? If they see how useful you have been to society in some of these ways, then they can also say that, okay, when this person comes to our school and gets the benefit of learning from our school and whatever, the person can therefore also pass this knowledge to a community, because they are not book long. I mean, if I say book long in contest like us, who are just concerned about getting results, getting the paper, their academic certificate and stuff. They are much concerned about how relevant would whatever you have done be relevant to society. So these are things that we need to get at the back of our mind, that number one, most importantly, you're competing on a global stage, and then you need to do the right process. And that's what we're going to do to the scholarship series. It's going to be for a period of time all through. If you join us and you follow us, you ask your questions, you do the nitty-gritties of what should be done, by God's grace, you will definitely be able to get your scholarships as well. Good. So I'll start by picking some key pointers. Now, the school application process as of now is in process. So most schools, for the European schools, the Canadian schools, the American schools, the Australian schools, have opened the school application process for students who go to school next year. And next year, the two main cycles for, I mean, international students going to, let's say, the America, North America, so USA and Canada, is the fall and spring. So spring is January 2026, and then fall is most likely August and September 2026. If you want to go to school next year, this is the time you need to start. You don't have to wait 2 months till time and then you start. If you do that, you do a shoddy job. And by then, the schools will even have decided on the student they want to give admissions to. So first and most important thing, that the school application process has been open and people are applying. I spoke to one friend just I think today is Friday, on Thursday, and I asked him, said yes, he has submitted one of his applications so far. So if you haven't started, it means you maybe you might be waiting to enter next year before you start application, but that might be too late, because the school application process also works on the principle of first come first, especially for funding and scholarships as well. So as at now, you should start. Now the point is, what should you do? What should you do? What should you do to be able to get this as well? Now, our focus here is not just for you to get admission. As for admission, everybody can get admission to the program because you meet the basic requirements to gain admission. But getting admission with scholarships, that would make your academic studies there quite easier for you to be able to excel as an international student. So we are concerned about full scholarships and then partial scholarships. And partial scholarships, we are concerned about partial scholarships that is significant enough to offset much of your tuition costs and your living expenses. And then the remainder is something that you can always cater for with some little finances of yours to make sure that you can be able to stay steady without any challenges as well. So now, as I earlier said, it's in process now. For most schools, you need to submit your school application process. The process might mean assume you want to apply to a school, let's say University of Iowa. So you go to the University of Iowa, you go to their website, you go to apply as prospective student. So if you apply as a future student, you go to the website. The website might have a portion for undergraduate students, those who have finished the secondary school and want to come and do their first degree, and then those who want to do the graduate students. So most of those who have the first degrees are applying for the graduate students. The graduate students has the masters and then the PhDs as well. So if you are applying for that one, then you choose graduate. When you choose the graduate, the portal might maybe need you to sign in. So you have the signing process with your email and stuff. Those are things that are quite easy and straightforward. And I want to say that anytime you have any challenge in the school application process, always feel free to send an email to the IT team. The IT team are always ever ready to respond as well. If you can't find the IT team's email address anywhere on the portal, normally look at the very last line on the website. So you move to the very bottom of the website, you see there you can send an email to them. They'll respond and they help you throughout the process. Now, so then when you enter the graduate application process, then you have to select what kind of program you want to do. So maybe a master's in business administration, or maybe a master's in agriculture economics, maybe a master's in microbiology, a master's in art, whatever, or a PhD in that. Now, when you do that, you would have to fill in various details. Some of the details will be your personal information, your name, all other things like your bio data and stuff like that. And then you need to also select the course, and then they might ask you further questions. But some of the key things that they require from you to apply is your transcript from your school, your degree that you did or diploma that you did, the transcript. So you have to attach the transcript. You also have to attach your certificate. Sometimes they might require that. And then they might require you to attach your CV. And then they might require you to attach what we call a personal statement, which some will call it a motivational essay or a letter of interest. All of these things are requirements that you need to attach to your grad school applications. And these are things that you should be able to get as a graduate student or even an undergrad student, because I know there'll be some undergrad students who might also be watching it as well. So for the undergrad student, you might need your WASI certificate or your SAT scores, and then you might need your essays also as well, and your transcripts. Your transcripts can be obtained for the undergrad student when you go to your school, maybe your SHS school. You go speak to the go to administration, tell them you want a transcript. They will prepare it and then give it to you. They can submit this as well. Now, most of the schools, what they do, most for a considerable number, they might require what we call an unofficial transcript, meaning you are sending it as a student. So that's unofficial. But when you then gain admission, then they will request for the official transcript to back whatever you have sent to them. So the official transcript will be sent directly by your school or your university to them and not through you. So just to make the application process quite easier and faster, then you will submit the copies you have in applying. But when you are done, then they will request that your school sends the official one to back whatever as well. The reason because they've noticed that some of our own people are fond of faking some documentation and stuff like that. Some schools for the transcript might require what they call the transcript evaluation. A transcript evaluation is that yes, you did your course in Ghana or you did your course in Nigeria, but a course in Ghana is not necessarily everything is not the same credential like how it's in the US or Europe or whatever. So what they want is they want to have a comparative report to compare whatever you have done in Ghana to a similar program in the US. So that's what we call transcript evaluation. So they evaluate your transcript and write a report based on this. Oh, okay, this student who did a business administration program in Ghana, all that he did is similar to whatever we are doing here. Therefore, based on the standard, you can admit him to the master's program or to the PhD program. So some schools might require what they call the transcript evaluation. And on the portal, they'll show you acceptable transcript evaluators that they work with. The very common ones are WES, World Evaluation Service, and Spantran. These are stuff like that. So as I'm saying, every single part of the process, there will always be a preamble or some information to explain what you need to do to be able to apply effectively. So very important. I also want to highlight that people should take their time and read instructions. Instructions are very, very clear. And if there's anything you don't understand on the website, always send an email to the graduate coordinator or to the admissions team, and they will clarify for you. Don't assume and don't assume all of these are done. So if you are done doing all of these, mostly at the very end of it, they will require what we call the recommendation letters. So the recommendation letters or recommendations by people who have worked with you, so most likely your lecturers. So we call those ones academic recommendations, and then people you have worked with in your professional place, we call those ones professional recommendations. Some schools will require two recommendation letters. Recommendation. Normally we say recommendations, even though some of the say recommendation letters. Some time ago, most of the schools were requiring that your professor or your supervisor at work or head of department would have prepared a letter, recommendation letter, and then you attach it as a soft copy. But now most of the schools, what they are requesting is that they are requesting for the email address of your recommendation recommenders, who when they send the email to them, then they will fill in everything online. So we can still use recommendation letters, but it might not be physically like when you go and pick the letter from them and later submit. But now it will rather go into their email inbox and then they fill in the details like that. It's more or less like the same process as well. So don't get confused. Maybe when you're applying and then the recommender says that he has received an email, it's more or less like the same process. And then there will always be instructions for them to fill in all this as well. So you before that, you also need to contact your recommenders. So a lecturer, preferably, I want to emphasize this here, preferably if you're applying to a master's program that wants two recommendations, they would always prefer that at least one of the recommenders should be a lecturer who has taught you a course before. Yes, preferably. If you get two lecturers, very good. But if you get one lecturer and then one supervisor from work or your boss or your head of department, that is okay. Uh-huh. Sometimes there's a challenge that some people are not able to get their lecturers because maybe you finished school 10 years ago and you went to your school, all the lecturers who taught you are no longer there. Sometimes the current lecturers are not willing to write for you because they feel that they didn't teach you and then they can't write a good recommendation. So in such a case like that, maybe your supervisors you have worked at in your current workplace or your former workplace can then write those recommendations for you. And then you can always make a note to the grad school. And before that, always send an email to clarify. I'm talking about sending emails. Communication is very important. Don't assume as well. So this is more like, so when you're done with the recommendation, your recommenders have also submitted their recommendation letters and you've clicked on the submit button. Now, clicking on the submit button, that's the very last stage of the process. When you click on the submit button, some of the schools will require you to pay what we call an application fee. So when you are done paying the application fee, which you normally paid via an online payments platform like Visa, MasterCard, and those ones as well. Some schools might give you an application fee waiver, where they'll say, okay, yes, you are applying, you need to pay, but we are giving you a fee waiver maybe because you have applied early or you have applied during the application fee week, or maybe you have a particular reason why they feel that, then you can apply. So that is what will happen in the application fee waiver. Otherwise, you might need to pay. For some application or some schools, you don't need to pay anything at all. It is free to everyone to apply as well. So for me, what I tell people is that when you're applying to schools, get a combination of schools that have application fee waiver, which will lower your cost of applying to schools, and some of the schools that would also demand that you pay application fee. It has been seen that some of the schools that give application fee waiver, their scholarships are quite scanty, even though there are some schools that give application fee waiver and can give you full scholarship. And then the schools that require the application fee, sometimes their scholarship are quite weighty. So you just have to do a mixture of these two as well. But if you're able to finish everything and then you click on submit, then it will send you an email that, oh, yes, we have received your application and everything is complete. Sometimes when you click on submit, your recommenders will not have submitted their recommendation. You don't have to wait for your recommended before you click on submit. You can click on submit, and the portal will still allow your recommenders to send their recommendations when they are done. So what you do is that if you notice that your recommenders have not submitted, you just once in a while go and check the portal. When you go and check the portal, you will see that, oh, recommendations are still pending. Maybe one of them has submitted, and the other one has not submitted. So the one that has not submitted, then what you can do is that you can send a reminder. There's a portion there that allows you to click what we call a reminder. It will send a reminder to them to fill it. Or you can actually call them personally that, oh, sir or my boss or madam, please, I'm waiting for your recommendation letter. At their own free time, they'll be able to do. And I won't emphasize on recommendation letters. Sometimes it becomes a challenge for people. So let's find a way to relate very well with our recommenders. Or as we recommend, relate very well with them, we'll be able to we'll be able to we'll be able to get them to do our recommendations for us as well. So now, today, since today is the first session, I'm going to give a very overview of all these very important things that are essential for us to be able to excel in grad school applications. I think I've seen Miss Donuki has gone off, and maybe when she comes back, she might ask some questions as well. So I'll try and highlight them. You can note your questions down, and when I'm through with, you can bring your questions as well. Miss Donuki, please, are you there? Miss Donuki.
Yes, I think it's yeah.
Yes.
I'm
So this
here.
is
So um, I'll suggest that if they have any questions, they should drop it in the comment section. We are
very
going
good.
to allocate some time for that.
Okay, yes, great. So they can drop their questions in the comment section in the meantime. So as she said, Mrs. Donuki said, if you have any question, you can drop it in there. So I'll take my time and go through as fast as because we are trying to make sure the time as well. So don't be surprised if I'm talking a little bit too fast. You can also prompt me. If I'm thinking talking a little bit too fast, kindly prompt me because I always want to make sure that we finish everything as well. Okay, so now I am sure as at now you should have an idea or you have heard the word cold email. You might have heard it before. If you haven't heard it, I'll take my time. This is the first one. So you're taking that see for everybody from scratch as well. If you know it, you can share your ideas. What do you think a cold email is as well? Now, a cold email is more or less like it's just a normal email, but it's an email you are sending to a professor or a lecturer that number one, he is not expecting that email from you. So it's more like a very calm approach that you are trying to write a letter to him or her via an email. And why are you writing the email? You are writing the email, number one, to express your interest to work alongside that lecturer. Most of the graduate school applications are all about doing a research or about doing a project. Now, most of the professors are the ones who have their scholarships or funding. They might apply to the government for a government funding or grant to carry out some research. So maybe somebody carrying out a research on market analysis of the dollar against the euro or whatever they are doing, or a research on how to bring about solutions to COVID. I mean, during the COVID time, how to bring about solutions to HIV/AIDS and all those things as well. Now, because the government has given them that amount of money for that research, they also would need people to work with to be able to do the research. So even though it's the professor is the name that the grant has been given to, he will have to work with students, very brilliant brains who we can work with so that they can achieve the findings that are necessary for them to submit their findings back to the government that this is what we took the money for. We have been able to find a new drug that can help reduce malaria or COVID, or we have been able to find a way whereby the central bank of the country can be able to manage inflation or stuff. And all these are done by research. So it needs brilliant brains to work with. So now, since the professor would want to work with people, you are sending an email looking at the professor's interest as indicated on the website. So almost all the schools have a website for every professor. I mean, a section of the website for the professor. So assuming you are doing, let's say, um, let's say biological science. So let's go to the sciences. It's the same principle that applies to that business administration. And I'm just using an example. So you go to the website, maybe the biological sciences website, Department of Biological Sciences. You see faculty. So you see a faculty, maybe Professor Kofi Amua. So go to Professor Kofi Amua. When you click on his name, you see details about Professor Kofi Amua. Maybe he went to school here. These are the research, it's ongoing research he's doing. These are the areas of interest that he is doing research in. So you might see that, oh, his researches are basically about mosquito, about HIV/AIDS, about malaria, and about COVID. When you see these researches, it tells you that these are the kind of researches he's interested in. Maybe if your research is about tuberculosis, you will see that your tuberculosis and then malaria don't align. So you will rather go and look for maybe Professor Ama Mansa, whose research is on maybe respiratory diseases. So respiratory diseases, tuberculosis, and other ones. Then you see that, oh, okay, since your background experience matches the one of the tuberculosis, then you think that Professor Ama Mansa is the one you can write to. So you write an email to that professor. That's what we call the cold email. So it's an introductory email, introducing yourself to her. So, hello, Professor Ama Mansa. I am Ajwa Menu. Um, I did biological sciences at University of Ghana, Legon, finishing with a first class or a second class. I look forward to applying to the Masters of Biological Sciences in University of Iowa. Then now, from there, you come to tell about what are the experiences you have, or have some experience after my school. I have worked in a lab, which we worked on tuberculosis cases and stuff and things like that. These are the skills and stuff that you have. Then you tell her the research interest that you have, why you're interested in working, helping him or her to be able to carry out his tuberculosis project that she is doing as at the time being. Then, if there are any other things that you think that is necessary for you to let her know about you put it across to her. Then you ask, is it possible? Will she be taking on some students in the time being? Then reach out to her. Very, very simple, well crafted one. We'll have a code email masterclass too as well. But there are a lot of samples that you can use. Now, when you write this email to the professor will be able to see that, oh okay, this is a student. They'll look at your CV. So let me also then come to the CV. Sorry. So in writing the code email, you need to attach your CV. So the CV in this question is what we call an academic CV. Emphasis academic CV. It's not the same as the work CV. So no, most of us are used to the work CV. The work CV is just for mostly for to gain work. But these are academic CV. The academic CV has a particular way format it has to be. The the key pointers is you need to tell us about your research interest. So I'm interested in working on respiratory diseases, interested in working upon maybe communicable diseases, tropical diseases. I'm interested in working about COVID as well. So you tell about those things. And then you talk about the emphasis on your academic work you have done. So in an academic CV, you list some courses you have done. For a work CV, normally we don't list the courses you have done. So maybe you did biological sciences. So maybe introduction to biological sciences, biological science in African setting. So you look through the courses that are relevant to the program you are applying, you list them. Then you put out your CV, and then you talk about your research experiences. All of these are very important on your academic CV and your teaching experience. When you're applying for work, these are not necessarily important on your work CV. So there are some key pointers that must be on your academic CV. So we have the case where people are applying to school, and when they see a resume or CV, they are applying with their work CV. Yes, it talks about you, but it does not talk about you in a way that will be essential for you to apply for grad school. So you see that you might apply, you are not getting admissions, or you apply, you are getting admissions, no funding. It's because you are not doing it the right way. As I said earlier on, the most important thing is about doing it the right way. There's a right way it should be done. So if you have been applying with a work CV for some time now, please take your time, go and look at that work CV and look at how to change it to an academic CV. I will surely have a master class on academic CV too as well. So when you send that cold email with an academic CV explaining your research interests, showing the skills that you have done, all the things that you have done, which are very essential, when the Professor Amamansa sees, oh, okay, because I think this is a very good student that I can work with, because when she comes, she can help my research on tuberculosis and stuff like that. Then she will reply and say, oh, hello, Akusia Menu, thanks for your email as well. You look like the kind of student I would really like to work with. Can I have a meeting with you, mostly via Zoom or maybe Google Meet or Microsoft Teams as well? You schedule a time and then you have an interaction with her. And when she interacts, she can see that, oh yes, actually you've seen the kind of profile that she would want to work with. Then she will say, okay, then when you are applying for your grad school application, kindly write my name in your personal statement or statement of purpose or motivational essay or letter of interest. It's the same thing, but they have different names. Every school has a different name they give to it. That, oh, yes, you'll be willing to work with me. And then when you are able to put everything together, when they are reviewing the documentation, your documentation for the grad school application or the school application, then they can say, oh, yes, I agree, yes, that I want to work with this person. Then the professor, based on the scholarship, the funding he or she has for his project, will tell the grad school that I'm reserving maybe $30,000 of my grants, which I have from the government or the national fund or the school's funding for research, to be reserved for these students to cover the students' scholarships, so the tuition and then living expenses and stipends. So then your admission will come with some level of scholarship. So you see why there's a need to send a code email to the professor. Aside that, it doesn't mean that if you don't send a code email, you cannot get scholarships. Some students have had scholarships without sending a code email. Yes, then it means that your application is among the very, very best. They reviewed your and they profiled you that you're among the very, very best. That one, you don't need to send a code, but you don't know who you're competing with. So it's always good you reach out and then get some level of assurance that, oh, they are willing to work with you. Then you know, because in fact, in the US, there are over 4,000 schools and universities in the US. In Canada, there are over 400. In Europe, there are so many. So there are so many schools you can apply to. Why wouldn't you like to apply to a school whereby they have expressed the interest to work with you because they think you suit the kind of profile they are looking for or students they are looking for? So that is why we say that it's always good so that you don't spend a lot of money on paying application fee, $100, $70, €80 and stuff. So it helps when you send the code email with your academic CV and your transcript attached, and when they review it, they think that you fit the profile they want. And then based on that, they get back to you as well. Then there's the personal statement. So the personal statement, you're writing an essay explaining why you're applying to the program. So you give a little introduction about your background, why you want to apply to maybe the master's in business administration, or you worked in a bank, you did business administration in Ghana, you did business administration maybe UCC, University of Cape Coast. After working there for after that, after graduating, you have worked in a bank or a microfinance. You have worked in the finance department of your company, and you have worked for a while, and you want to upgrade your skills as well. And then you think that getting the master's in business administration will help you be able to rise to maybe become a head of the finance department or go to a mid-level position in the bank or a CEO position or whatever. And then afterwards, you also help to impact it to society. I'm always talking about society because they are always concerned about how whatever you are doing will be relevant to society. And knowledge is not meant to be only for your personal benefit. How can society benefit from that? So you write this essay explaining, telling us about yourself, why you're applying to the program, and then what you do after the program. So it's among the document that you need to apply, and it needs to be carefully written. I also want to, at this juncture, make the point that yes, we know about ChatGPT and AI, but please don't use AI and ChatGPT to write your personal statements. People, yes, AI can help you, but Though if you use it to write, they will flag it because they will do a plagiarism check, and the plagiarism check will show that you didn't write it yourself. And if you're applying for grad school or anything like that, and you use ChatGPT or Meta AI or any AI, it will be flagged. That's also to say that by plagiarism, if you also go and copy something from the internet, you see that somebody had an award-winning master's in MBA application, and you just take it and copy his words. Note that the plagiarism check will show that this was not written by yourself, by the copy document. So as much as possible, ask yourself questions about yourself and use that to write. Some schools will have what we call prompt. They'll ask that maybe answer these questions, maybe three questions that must show clearly in your personal statement. You take your time and then answer as they've asked you to do. If you do it very well, you are good to go. And they are, yeah. Some in the personal statement, some schools would have limitations and say maybe 2 pages or 500 words or 1,000 words. Please, as much as possible, keep to the requirements. Requirements are very important. If you don't understand, as I said earlier on, can always send an email to clarify. If they get back to you, you know what to, but please try and keep to the requirement that they have asked you to be able to write for them. You're able to do that, you are good to go. So that is the personal statement. Now, the three, so if you're able to write a personal statement properly, you are good to go. As for your transcript, already produced by your school and has been given to you, can submit as well. Now, when it comes to the scholarships, I've talked about the scholarships that come from the department due to a professor's funding. There are other general scholarships that are the external scholarships, like the Commonwealth scholarships, the Chevening scholarship, the Gates Foundation scholarship, the Mo Ibrahim scholarships. These are scholarships that are available to all. Now you can go to the website. You can ask Google or Meta AI or ChatGPT. I am an international student trying to apply to schools in maybe Europe. What are some of the scholarships that I can apply for? When you see the scholarships, you can take your time, review it, see the requirement, and then apply as well. Every scholarship has its own generic, specific, generic or specific requirement that you need to apply. It's just as applying for grad school as well. Now, for scholarships, some schools, when you are applying, they would want you to apply for the scholarship first before applying to the school. Some schools will want you to apply for the school and get admission first before applying for the scholarships. So all of these things are on the scholarship website and the school's websites, and they are here and there. But the scholarships can be either a full scholarship or a partial scholarship. What I want everyone to note is that please take your time and read. There's a lot of information on the website that can explain what can cover. Some scholarships will cover your tuition, will cover all your tuition. Some scholarships will cover part of your tuition. Some will cover part of your living expenses. Some will cover all your living expenses. It is clearly written there, but you need to take your time and read. Some scholarships even allow you to apply for other scholarships. You can apply for a scholarship and get maybe 10,000 scholarship here, another 10,000 scholarships here. Some scholarships say, no, you can only apply for our scholarship. If you apply for any other scholarship, then you lose our scholarship. So always take your time and read on the scholarship website. In case you don't understand anything, you can always send an email to be able to get clarification as well. So that's on the scholarship bit as well. But we are praying everybody can get a full scholarship. It is possible to get. Some partial scholarships are even very good. It can cover about 80, 70% or 80% of all your tuition and then your living expenses. So then it becomes the remaining part is quite easier for you to get as well. Now, I made a point about resilience and then persistence. Resilience and persistence is very important. Resilience and persistence is very important because as you are applying, I know we are all looking forward to get admissions. It's possible you take your time, do this school application, and then you get the email, and then the email will sound like this: Hello, Kofi Menu. Thanks for spending time to apply to our school, and that we really think you are a very good student, but we are sorry to tell you that we weren't able to grant you admission. We wish you all the best endeavors in your next applications and stuff like that. You are eligible to reapply again as well, but we want you to know that this this rejection does not say that you are a bad student. Plenty English. It will be very, very sad when you get a rejection email like that. or a rejection letter like that is very, very, very painful. Some people get disheartened and they give up. I won't try again. But there's a saying that says, winners never quit and quitters never win. Winners never quit and quitters never win. If you ask those who have been able to get these full scholarships, they'll tell you this was like this number, my fourth application or my fifth application, and by God's grace, I got it. Even the very best, just like work, even the very best people still get emails that says you are not shortlisted for interview for work. Yes, it happens to everybody. Would you give up and say no? You don't give up. You need to push on, press on. And one thing I want to emphasize to all our students is, if you get an email from a school which says that they didn't accept you, you can also send a very politely written email asking for, oh, you thank them, you thank you. I mean, thank an example. Hello, grad school. Thank you for reviewing my application and giving me a response. I appreciate the time in doing that. I would be glad if you could give me feedback on my application so that I'll know how to improve on my next application. And there's something that is there that most people don't know about it. Most people don't know about it. When you do that, the grad school will be really happy to tell, oh, maybe we noticed that this and this is were the things that were lacking in your application. If they communicate to you, then that is feedback for you. Then you can use that to work and improve on your next applications. They are always willing to do that. People just get admission, they get angry, and they start saying all kinds of things about the school and then favoritism and stuff like that. Please don't be like that. Rather, let that be opportunity for you to gain some feedback to help your other applications be better as well. I think there's something I didn't say for the scholarships. Now, people sometimes get an admission to a school without funding, and they say, oh, then they just say, oh, then they will not go. As I was saying, some schools you will get admission before applying for scholarship. So as soon as you get admission, you can send a thank you email. Thank you for the admission. I thank you for as well. The graduate coordinator. Thank them and then ask. Please, you would be glad if you could be directed to their portals or website to apply for scholarships for international students in the school. They will gladly share with you whatever it is, or they can direct you to any other place. Then you can apply. Don't say because they didn't give me admission, they didn't give me scholarship, then you give up. No, you can always do that. That said, there are also other opportunities like educational loans like Empower and Prodigy and stuff. Sometimes you might not get enough scholarship. You can always use that to help your application as well. So that's that one too. When we have a scholarship emphasis on the scholarship series, you also talk about that one too as well. As I said, don't give up. If you get a denial admission, a denial or rejection email, don't give up. Just look at your application, ask for feedback. We get the feedback and work on it as well. And then prayers. Pray. Almost all the religions, even the atheists, even pray. I mean, they wish for the best. So there's a level of prayer that you need in whatever you do as well. If you commit it in the hands of God, God will make it successful. So put in your very best, add some prayers, put in everything you need to do. And very importantly, please, before you submit, take your time and review all your documentation. Cross your T's and then dot your I's. Take your time, look through. Yes, if it's even possible that you can have a friend or a brother or a colleague to read through your personal statement, check your academic CV, because it said in our local parlance that the Ocha Pine onim send a chia, which means that the one who is charting the path cannot tell whether it is a straight path or a curved path. So it means that it's always good to have feedback from a colleague or a friend. And then if you get that kind of feedback, then you can always work on that, have a second opinion, whatever you do as well. I mean, check everything together, put in your very best, and then by God's grace, you'll be able to get admission to your program of choice, your university of choice, and then get as well. As I'm talking about universities, please let us note, when you're applying to schools, don't just apply to the big name schools. Some people want to apply to only Harvard and MIT and then Princeton and Oxford. In fact, if you get an admission in University of Iowa and you get admission in Harvard, they are all an international degree. They are all international masters. So sometimes I'm not saying yes, I still apply for the Harvard and Co, but know that if you're applying to Harvard, they mean that the competition is relatively tougher. It is tougher and tougher because the very, very best are there. So even as you're applying to the very big schools, apply to the medium schools and then the lower rank schools as well. You never know where you will get admission and get the funding as well. So this is a whole overview of the school application process that you need to know. If you take your time, follow us, join us in our series, you'll be able to apply. And one thing I think I need to emphasize as well. Now, some schools will require what we call the IELTS, English proficiency, because they want to test your language proficiency, whether you are proficient in English as well. And it's very good that Casa de Lengua also provides the IELTS services as well, IELTS training and exams as well. So you are in the right hands. You are in the right hands as well. You can contact us, contact Mrs. Donuki for that as well. They'll take their time, train you. They have people they have worked, and they are certified by British Council as well. So you are in the right hands. Anything you need in the whole process, you are in the right hands as well. And whatever you think you need to do, as I said, if you do the right thing, the result will come and you'll be smiling. Next year by this time, you would have made the transit to your school destination, and then you'll be glad. You'll be sending us a thank you email or writing, join us in the webinar and saying that yes, you joined us last year, and by following the tips that we shared with you, you have been able to make it as well. So I think I would bring the wrap up of today's introduction, the masterclass introduction of the whole value of the process together. The next time we'll pick up, so we'll take it each particular session. I think when you go to the website, the Casa de Lingua website, you see the various things we have planned as well. If you join us, you'll be able to have the tips that will help you to be able to. We have worked with people who have been able, we've helped people to be able to get it, and then that is why we are now extending it to a greater audience. That is why Casa de Lingua is partnering with us for this purpose as well. So that is it as well. I don't know if Mrs. Doniki is in the background or the technical team are in the background. They can come in, and then if there are any questions they have seen from their end, they can bring it, ask as well, and then we can continue. So I'll wrap up my main introduction, my main session from here. They can take over. Thank you very much. I'm sure the technical team will join us soon. Now, if you see what I've written down there, as I wait the technical team to take over on the next stage of the process, I've made a statement about the secret of funding or scholarship is correspondence. Secret of funding or scholarships is correspondence. Correspondence is sending, communicating to the school, they communicating back to you, sending email, responding, replying, and stuff, relating with them. Now, because there are one or two things that you will not know if you don't send an email. So if you send an email, the response, as I said, they are very forthcoming with emails as well, because you might not be able to call directly. So the emails and the responses would help you to know what to do as well. If you learn the art of sending email, yes, we'll do a cold email specialty, take a sample and work with a sample as well. Be able to work very extensively on how to write a very good code email and stuff like that. They get back to you, you're able to and as I've highlighted, if there's anything you don't understand in the school application process for a particular school you're applying to, send an email to the graduate school or the admission school or the IT team. They'll get back to you and they'll help you, and then you are good to go as well. So the IT team can take over from their end, and then um, we can continue with the questions if there are any questions there. if the IT team, and then they can take over, and then if there are any questions or any things they want to take over, you can come in and then make those inputs. Okay.
Thank you so much. That was quite educative and very informative. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Nketia, before I drop the question, you didn't mention that we also offer translation services. So it's not just out. If you're a foreigner or you're applying to a foreign country and you need your documents to be translated, we'll do that as well for you. So thank you very
Very good.
much, Mr.
Very
Nketia,
good.
for that brilliant presentation. Now, the question has to do with Chat GPT. Said when we use Chat GPT, our applications will be flagged. But then would want to know if we have written our applications already, or let's say our personal statements, can we use Chat GPT to revise what we have written? Thank you very much. Or
Okay.
better still, can we use it as a guideline to write our own personal statements
Okay. Very good.
and
Thank you
cold
for that
emails,
question.
etc.?
So very good. That's a very brilliant question, because as we all know, I mean, ChatGPT has come to help us. I mean, AI is good, but you need to use it in a very professional means as well. So when you have written your personal statement, yes, it's very true, you've written your personal statement, but if you want to use ChatGPT if you want to use a ChatGPT to do a review, this is how you should do it, so that you are not flagged. It's not flagged as a plagiarized work or an AI generated work. So what you can do is you can ask ChatGPT to pick up the errors. What are the errors that it has seen from your application? So it will show you, maybe these are the errors I have noticed. Maybe your sentence, maybe the spelling of this word and stuff like that. Or maybe this phrase or this sentence was not well written. Then you can take it. Then you do is that you rewrite it in your own English. The mistake some do is that, yes, they've written a very brilliant a minute. A minute. I'm coming. Please, sorry. Sorry, I just had to attend to something. Sorry, emergency. So, as I was saying, so when the response, it gives you it, the mistake some do is that they rather tell ChatGPT that, oh, ChatGPT, revise my document for me or correct my mistakes. Good. ChatGPT say, oh, thank you for that. And ChatGPT will now take it and then correct it. But what you notice that ChatGPT will now write it like a ChatGPT. So your work that you had already written is now written in an AI voice. And anything that is done in AI is flagged as an AI work. So sometimes people's work that are flagged as AI is not because they made AI write it for them, but rather in allowing AI to revise it for them, they rather got a work that is now an AI work. And then the school will flag it as that. This is a mistake some people have made, or they didn't know, because they thought, oh yes, AI would revise it for you. So please, in order not to have that error, when ChatGPT flags your errors for you, write it yourself. Correct the mistakes one by one yourself. Don't tell it that revise it. I mean, correct it for me. If it corrects it for you, you give it the power to now take the whole document or your application and then rewrite it. And when it rewrites it, it'll rewrite it in its own voice. And then anybody who will read it will see that this is an AI work, because the final screening or the final sieving was done by AI. So that is what people should know. Please, we are emphasizing it very well. It's very painful. You write your work, you were just trying to get your errors corrected. And then by your errors being corrected, the work now looks like an AI work because you will not get the A. But when the admission team is seeing it, that is what will happen as well. So, Mr. Nuki, that is the way to go. For as for cold emails, you're asking us how should you then do it? Okay, also, this is a way you can use ChatGPT. You can let ChatGPT give you an idea. You can say, I want to write a cold email to a professor in this school. This is my background and stuff. Can you draft a sample email for me? When they draft the sample email, you get the ideas. Maybe you need to address the person like introduction and stuff. Then you look at that and based on that, write yours or edit it into your own voice, human voice. AI is computer generated. So anything from AI, if you want to use it, you need to edit it back into the human interface. Otherwise, the schools, admission teams, or professors will see that this is not the human being that wrote it. It was written by, and then I say, do you think I want? You know what they will say in their head? Do you think we want to work with computers or robots? If we wanted, we wouldn't have allowed human beings to apply to the program. So even though AI is good or ChatGPT is good, we need to find a way to work and use it very well. So thank you for this very good question. Thank you. If there's any other question you can ask as well. Thank you. I hope you
Well,
got.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for that brilliant answer. I think there are no questions, so maybe I guess we can wrap up.
Okay, sure. So I think what we also need to do is that anybody who is watching this, if you are watching it live or you are watching it on the replay on YouTube, please share with a friend. Okay, it's a series you are going to do. Share. It is said one thing I've learned growing up is that if we are friends and we are all hungry and I go and find food, when I find food, it behoves on me to tell my other friends where the food is. And it's even seen in the Bible when the four lepers left the gifts of Samaria and they got to the camp, the camp of the people who were fighting the enemies of the Israelites and they are fled. What they did was that when they were eating, they ate first one, second one, hey, wait, oh, what we are doing is not good. We need to go and tell our brothers in the city who are hungry. So if you see a very good thing like this, a scholarship series which we are doing, share with a friend, share with a family and friend, somebody who would need it to also, because we always say it's about getting the right information, getting the right details, and doing the right thing. And for us, we are here to take you through this series and we are ready to help you through the journey. As we earlier on said, the IELTS services, the translation services, anything concerning languages and school applications. Casa de Lengua is here to help you out. So stay tuned, get ready on Fridays, 7 p.m. GMT to 8:30 GMT. Check our website. You see the various days we have it. And we are going to do it, I think, bi-weekly, something at that interval, so that you can have your time. If you have any questions, you can come to the website, contact us. Mrs. Onuki, please, I want you to, Mrs. Onuki, I want you to send forth your contact email and contacts as well, so that those who want to reach out until our next meeting, they can always reach out to us, and then they know that we will take our time to work with them as well. So thank you very much for tuning. We appreciate your time in joining us. All we say is that share with others. Don't keep the food to yourself. Don't keep the scholarship apple or good news to yourself. Share with others, and definitely we'll meet again, and then we'll be good to go. Thank you. Ms. Onuki, you can take over.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Gitia, for such a brilliant presentation. My take home is volunteering very necessary. Now, people get out of school and all they think about is money. If you ask them to do volunteering, it becomes a problem. If you don't do that, Mr. Nketia has said it all. It would come back to bite you one day when you need a scholarship. So please avail yourself to volunteering opportunities. And then also, if you are applying for a scholarship, make sure you read the instructions carefully. If you don't understand anything, please do not hesitate to ask for clarification. You should also have a referee, preferably someone who has taught you before. If the person is unavailable, you can use a supervisor you have worked with. You should apply to a mixture of schools. So schools with waivers, application waivers, and those without application waivers. The reason being that schools with application waivers are very difficult to come by as compared to schools without application waivers, right? So you stand a better chance of getting admitted. You also have to build good relationships with recommenders, people you think can recommend you in the future, so that when it's time for recommendation, it becomes easier. You also have to learn to prepare how to prepare an academic CV. Note that academic CVs are not the same as your work CVs. And then you need to write a personal statement, and in doing that, please desist from using ChatGPT, because once you do that, your application will be flagged. If you're unsure about your school's requirements, you can Google them. And if your scholarship is rejected, politely ask for feedback to improve your next application. Don't give up. And when you get the admission, send a thank you email. In the event that you got the admission and you didn't get scholarship, send a thank you email and request access to a scholarship portal. Before you submit your review, before submitting your application, always ensure you have reviewed the application carefully. Better still, ask someone to review it for you before you send it. Two heads we know are always better than one. And then spread your tentacles. Do not only target the Harvards and the like. Send your applications to the good schools and then the other ones, because you might not know where your luck is going to shine. And then finally, do not give up. There's even the song that says that if you don't succeed, just keep on trying. So if you try once or twice or thrice and you're not getting, just keep on trying, go back to the drawing board, and who knows, the next time you might get it. And don't let it end there. You should also pray for God's guidance. I don't know the religion you believe in, but whatever you believe in, go to that God and then pray for guidance in your application process. So I think we'd have to wrap it. Um, I've sent you my email. I'm sending you Casa's email. So my email address is daglo@casadelengua.com. You can send me an email if you have any questions, or you can send an email to support@casadelengua.com. Or you can also visit our websites at www.casadelengua.com. So I've dropped them in the comment section. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. As Mr. Nketia said, All the dates for the upcoming webinars have been listed there, and so would entreat all of you to join us and listen in. You might not know. Maybe your answers are in our webinars. So we look forward to seeing you next time. And please share to a friend and ask your friend to also share to a friend. You might not know who you'd be saving. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Miss Doniki.